Most people think success belongs to the loudest person in the room, but today I want to show you something you were never taught in school. The most dangerous mind is not the fastest one, it is the quiet one. And by the end of this video, you will understand why. We tend to assume that the most powerful person is the one constantly moving, the one filling every minute with tasks, the one hustling, rushing, taking calls, checking messages, writing lists, posting updates, and chasing progress. That looks like productivity. That looks like control. But what if real control is much quieter than that? What if true power belongs to someone who appears to be doing nothing at all? This is a story about a different kind of mind. A quiet, ambitious mind. A thinker who does not perform productivity, but processes reality. Someone who might be called lazy, unmotivated, inconsistent, or unfocused. But beneath that surface, something else is happening. They are not slow. They are strategic. They are not late. They are building timing. Picture this. Two people share a room. One is typing fast. It is a storm of keyboard clicks and notifications. Their eyes move between apps, emails, calendars, messages, spreadsheets. From the outside, that looks like progress. It looks like purpose. In the same room, another person sits still. They stare out a window. They scroll slowly. Their notebook is untouched. To most people, this looks like doing nothing. It looks like wasted potential. But appearances can be deceptive. One person maintains movement. The other finds direction. One finishes tasks. The other shapes ideas. Quiet thinkers rarely show their work while it is forming. They do not announce a vision while it is still fragile. They wait for clarity, then they move. Quiet, ambitious minds do not think in constant motion. They think in cycles. They notice details other people ignore. They connect patterns slowly, and then clarity appears unexpectedly, like a door suddenly unlocking. Ideas do not arrive through pressure. They arrive through space. They come in the shower while driving, on a late walk, staring at the ceiling before sleep. That is not laziness. That is the brain shifting modes. The mind has two distinct states, focus mode and diffuse mode. Focus mode helps you solve known problems. Diffuse mode helps you discover new solutions. Quiet, ambitious minds need diffuse thinking to reach their potential. They need room to explore ideas. They need silence to listen to intuition. The challenge is society rarely values diffuse thinking. Society values visible activity. Schools reward effort you can show on paper. Workplaces reward busy calendars. Social media rewards constant updates. Quiet thinkers feel defective because their best thinking happens off camera. Nothing is wrong with them. They simply run on a different system. They warm up slowly and strike decisively. They need time before they accelerate. They incubate ideas before executing them. Quiet, ambitious minds cycle through three phases: input, incubation, output. Input is absorbing, reading, listening, observing, paying attention. Incubation is letting ideas sink beneath awareness, letting the subconscious work without control. Output is clarity taking form, expression becoming reality. The world sees output and praises it, but input and incubation are invisible. They look like stillness. They look like wandering. They look like pauses, but output is impossible without them. If you have ever spent days feeling unproductive and then suddenly had a breakthrough, you know this process. That moment of sudden insight is not a miracle. It is accumulated understanding finally revealing itself. Quiet, ambitious minds are not driven by deadlines. They are driven by meaning. When something truly matters, they move fast. When it does not, they cannot force themselves. That is not laziness. That is intelligence conserving energy for what counts. To turn quiet ambition into a strength, you must understand meaning. Meaning converts thought into action. Without meaning, action drains you. With meaning, action energizes you. Ask simple questions. Why does this matter? What will this change? Who benefits from this? Your brain comes alive when purpose becomes clear. Quiet thinkers should build a thinking ecosystem, not just a productivity system. Productivity systems force output. Thinking ecosystems create clarity. A thinking ecosystem has 5 pillars: space, input, capture, incubation, expression. Space is privacy for the mind, a place where thoughts can breathe. Input is quality information, books, long conversations, rich stories. Capture is writing or recording ideas the moment they appear. Incubation is stepping away, trusting the subconscious to connect dots. Expression is building something visible from what was invisible. Most quiet, ambitious minds struggle with expression. They judge their ideas before sharing them. They believe they must fully understand something before they speak it. But clarity grows through expression, not before it. Speak before you are ready. Write before you feel confident. Ideas harden when they meet reality. Quiet, ambitious minds do not thrive under pressure. Pressure speeds you up, but often at the cost of depth. They thrive under curiosity. They thrive when wandering intellectually. They thrive in conversations that go somewhere unexpected. Quiet thinkers are slow to start when something has no meaning, but they are unstoppable when something does. That is a signal, not a flaw. Quiet thinking looks strange from the outside because it is invisible, but invisible does not mean inactive. Deep thinkers evaluate consequences. They think in systems instead of tasks. They ask different questions. Not how fast can I do this, but is this worth doing at all? Progress for quiet thinkers happens in waves, not straight lines. Long stretches of preparation, sudden leaps of clarity. People see the leap and call it luck. They miss the months of invisible thinking. Quiet, ambitious minds often bloom later than others. They need time to form values, direction, internal certainty. They do not rush into careers or relationships. They need to trust the foundation before building the structure. It may feel like you are behind everyone else, but you are not behind. You are building quietly. You are absorbing before expressing. You are preparing before performing. Foundation work is invisible. Nobody praises thinking, reflection, clarity, awareness. But everything built later depends on that unseen work. Consistency for a quiet mind is not daily visible results. It is returning to depth, returning to curiosity, returning to clarity again and again. Your consistency is mental, not performative. You show up in ideas before you show up in action. That is real consistency. Let go of the pressure to look productive. Looking productive means nothing. Seeing clearly means everything. 1 hour of clarity can replace 10 hours of forced effort. Quiet, ambitious minds must learn to trust their internal timing. Some days are for input, some are for rest, some are for revelation. Knowing when to push and when to pause is an art. Creativity comes in waves. Energy rises and falls. Inspiration is seasonal. Protect your clarity windows. When they open, take action. When they close, step back. That is harmony, not inconsistency. Look back at your life. How many breakthroughs came when you least expected them? How many solutions arrived after you stopped thinking about the problem? How many insights appeared during quiet moments? Those were not accidents. Those were your mind working behind the curtain. Quiet, ambitious minds do not chase hype or external motivation. They move when clarity calls. They turn vision into direction. The deeper you think, the smoother your action becomes. Quiet ambition is not about rushing. It is about knowing and then moving decisively. Everything changes when you stop trying to impress others with motion and start trying to impress yourself with clarity. If these words resonate with you, protect them. You are not alone. There are many minds like yours. Minds that are not loud, not frantic, not desperate to prove themselves, but waiting, forming, and preparing for something meaningful. Take one small step today. Capture one idea. Create one moment of silence. Ask one real question. Your mind will do the rest. Your depth is your advantage, and it will carry you further than speed ever could. Let's go deeper. Quiet, ambitious minds eventually recognize a pattern in themselves. Their progress doesn't look like a straight line. It looks like pulses of acceleration separated by stretches of stillness. Long periods where nothing seems to happen, followed by moments where everything moves at once. At first, these pauses can feel frustrating. You might think you are falling behind, when in reality you are gathering mental resources. You might assume you are avoiding something, when you are actually processing beneath awareness. Quiet ambition grows in silence before it grows in action. just like a seed develops roots before breaking through soil. What seems like inactivity is often integration. Your mind is collecting experience, forming context, building emotional understanding, and then clarity arrives. Suddenly, the direction appears, and movement becomes natural rather than forced. The real challenge is learning to trust this hidden work. Most people only trust visible effort. They believe progress requires constant pushing. Quiet, ambitious minds need to learn a different kind of discipline. The discipline of patience. Patience is not passive. It is focused waiting. It is protecting your mental environment. It is allowing ideas to mature instead of forcing them out prematurely. You are not falling behind if you are thinking. You are not wasting time if you are observing. You are not unproductive if you are finding meaning. Over time, quiet thinkers learn to recognize the difference between stagnation and incubation. Stagnation feels heavy, hopeless, and repetitive. Incubation feels like something is forming just beneath the surface. You may not know what it is yet, but you can feel a direction. To support incubation, quiet, ambitious minds must create clarity windows. Moments when thinking becomes easier. These windows rarely show up on command. They appear when conditions are right. Reduced pressure, increased curiosity, internal quiet. When a clarity window opens, protect it. Turn off notifications, ignore distractions. Let calls go unanswered. Treat this mental state as rare and valuable, because it is. An hour of genuine clarity is worth an entire day of forced effort. And when the window closes, do not fight it. Move back into learning, reflecting, absorbing. Quiet ambition is not about staying on all the time. It is about knowing when to turn on and when to rest. The more you understand your own cycles, the easier it becomes to work with them rather than against them. Quiet, ambitious minds also need a skill most people never develop: passive attention. This is the ability to observe without trying to control outcome, to take in information without forcing understanding, to watch patterns emerge naturally. Passive attention is where intuition grows. Intuition is not imagination or luck. It is knowledge you cannot yet explain. It is accumulated experience silently forming decisions. It is data your conscious mind has not yet organized. When a quiet thinker feels something is right or wrong before they can logically justify it, that is intuition. Trust it. Quiet, ambitious minds often change direction suddenly. They might quit something that looks promising to other people because it does not feel aligned internally. They might pursue something new with intensity even if others think it makes no sense. This confuses people who only see life through productivity metrics and external results. But quiet thinkers measure life using different criteria: meaning, alignment, internal certainty, long-term vision. Identity plays a major role here. You must learn to identify yourself accurately. You are not a procrastinator. You are a processor. You are not lazy. You are layered. You are not inconsistent. You are cyclic. The labels you use shape your behavior. Replace self-criticism with accurate descriptions. Instead of saying I get distracted, say I shift when meaning shifts. Instead of saying I can't focus, say I haven't found the real reason yet. Instead of saying I'm slow, say I am building depth first. Identity creates narrative. Narrative shapes motivation. Motivation changes action. Quiet, ambitious minds also need environments that support thinking rather than performing. This means designing space, time, and habits around mental clarity rather than external expectations. Ask yourself, where do I think best? At what time of day does my mind wake up naturally? What activity creates insight for me? Build your life around those answers. If your best ideas come while walking, schedule thinking walks. If your clarity comes late at night, protect evenings for solitude. If inspiration arrives after conversation, seek depth with people who expand you. Designing environment is not luxury, it is strategy. Another important tool is micro-expression. This means expressing ideas in small ways, frequently. You do not need to write a full essay. Write a sentence. You do not need to build a full project. Sketch a concept. Take one voice memo. Capture a thought before it disappears. Quiet minds often drown in unexpressed ideas. Micro-expression keeps ideas moving. It transforms internal depth into external direction. Let's talk about something most quiet, ambitious minds struggle with: boredom. Deep thinkers get bored easily with tasks that lack meaning. They can't fake interest. They can't sustain energy when something feels pointless. This frustrates teachers, bosses, and even themselves. But boredom is insight. Boredom is feedback. It is your mind telling you there is no alignment, no purpose, no growth here. Pay attention to what bores you. It reveals your boundaries. Also, pay attention to what fascinates you. Topics you return to repeatedly, questions you cannot stop thinking about, problems you feel compelled to solve. Fascination is direction. Curiosity is a map. Whatever keeps returning to your mind is a signal. Obsessions are not weaknesses, they are invitations. Now let's address stress. Stress is kryptonite for quiet thinkers. Stress forces the brain into survival mode. It narrows perception. It blocks diffuse thinking and intuition. Under stress, quiet minds cannot access their best cognitive abilities. Avoiding stress is not avoiding challenge. It is protecting clarity. You must learn to reduce noise. Reduce obligations that drain you without meaning. Reduce surface-level distractions. You are not meant to think in chaos. You are meant to think in focus and flow. Movement is another hidden tool. Many quiet minds think best while moving. Walking, driving, stretching, cleaning, pacing, showering. Movement stimulates the brain and loosens cognitive tension. When stuck, change your physical state. The mind follows motion. One of the most important skills quiet, ambitious minds must master is distinguishing avoidance from incubation. Avoidance is fear. Incubation is preparation. Avoidance feels like guilt and pressure. Incubation feels like softness and slow formation. Learn to recognize the emotional difference. Ask yourself, am I hiding or am I forming? Am I delaying or am I preparing? Honesty is key. Quiet, ambitious minds also think in decades rather than days. They imagine systems rather than tasks. They see possibilities beyond immediate goals. This is called long arc thinking. Long arc thinkers must learn to break vision into phases. What can be done today? What must wait? What requires learning? And what needs incubation? Time is a collaborator, not a threat. You are not in a race. You are in a process. The fear of falling behind is a distraction. Quiet thinkers do not fall behind. They fall silent, and then they emerge ahead. The final principle is peace. Peace is not an escape. It is the condition for clarity. Your best decisions emerge from peace, not pressure. Quiet ambition is subtle but powerful. It is depth without noise, strength without performance, insight without rush. If you have listened this far, something inside you recognizes these words. You are not alone. There are many like you. Minds building silently, learning quietly, waiting patiently, preparing for something that cannot yet be seen. Your breakthrough will arrive not by forcing speed, but by following clarity. Trust your rhythm, protect your space, capture your ideas, and most of all, allow your depth to lead. Your future does not depend on being loud. It depends on being true to how your mind actually works. Let's bring everything together. Quiet, ambitious minds spend years thinking they are broken because they don't move like everyone else. They spend years trying to force energy, discipline, motivation, trying to become someone they're not. They believe something is wrong with them, when the truth is simple. They are playing a different game. Most people chase momentum. Quiet thinkers chase clarity. Most people want productivity. Quiet thinkers want purpose. Most people hurry to start. Quiet thinkers wait to begin when reality finally makes sense. And here's the turning point. The moment quiet, ambitious minds finally stop fighting themselves. When you stop trying to perform productivity and start honoring clarity, everything shifts. The pressure to keep up disappears. The guilt for thinking too long dissolves. The confusion around your timing starts to make sense. You begin to recognize a pattern. Your best decisions come from silence, not noise. Your best direction comes from meaning, not urgency. Your best progress comes from depth, not speed. You realize something crucial. You were never slow. You were preparing. Look back at your life through this lens. Every time you paused, you were gathering perspective. Every time you stepped away, you were integrating information. Every time you waited, timing was aligning. What looked like doing nothing was actually building something invisible. Quiet, ambitious minds build foundations no one can see. Internal frameworks of understanding, intuition, pattern recognition, long-term thinking. Then when clarity hits, they move with a force that surprises everyone around them. People will say, "You changed suddenly." But you didn't change suddenly. You only revealed what was already forming. This is the moment quiet, ambitious minds must learn to trust their process. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's accurate. Your mind is not behind, it's calibrated. Quiet ambition works on timing, not social timing, not market timing, not productivity timing, internal timing. You move when meaning appears, not when someone else expects it. Let's talk about something most quiet thinkers never hear. You don't need to change your rhythm. You need to build around it. Design your days so input leads to incubation and incubation leads to expression. Create environments that invite clarity. Protect moments that activate thinking. Surround yourself with ideas that stretch your perspective rather than shrink it. Let curiosity lead you forward. Little by little, then suddenly. Pause for a moment and ask yourself one question. What idea keeps returning to you? Not the idea you think you should pursue, not the one others would approve of, the one that keeps showing up when you stop trying to think, the one that arrives late at night, on long walks, or when you stare out a window. That thought is not random. That thought is the beginning of direction. Every breakthrough begins quietly, not with certainty, but with curiosity. When something keeps coming back, follow it, capture it, explore it. Build a small version. Speak it out loud. Give it form, even if it's not perfect, especially if it's not perfect. Quiet, ambitious minds don't need more pressure to succeed. They need permission to begin. And here is the truth you might not realize until now. The world does not change because of loud ambition. It changes because of clear ambition. Quiet ambition builds the ideas people remember. Quiet ambition creates things that matter. Quiet ambition leads to innovation, not imitation. If you are still listening, you already feel this in your bones. Not hype, not urgency, something calmer, something truer. This video is not telling you to work harder. It is telling you to listen deeper. Your process is valid. Your pace is intelligent. Your silence has meaning. Now imagine 1 year from now if you stopped trying to look productive and started trying to become clear. Imagine what would happen if every quiet idea you buried, you captured. If every strange curiosity you followed, if every moment of stillness you honored instead of judged. That is how transformation begins. Not with motivation, with recognition. Recognition of who you actually are. Quiet, ambitious minds don't need a louder life. They need a more aligned one. So here's your invitation. Make space today, even 5 minutes, for your mind to breathe. Write one idea down. Ask one real question. Create one moment of silence. Take one step toward clarity. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because quiet ambition doesn't explode. It unfolds. And when it unfolds, everything you've been thinking in private becomes undeniable in public. You are not here to rush. You are here to understand. You are not here to follow noise. You are here to recognize truth. You are not here to perform productivity. You are here to live in alignment. And when clarity meets action, even small action, quiet ambition becomes visible ambition. That is the moment everything changes, and it starts right now, exactly as you are. Before this video ends, I want you to do one thing. Take a moment today, even if it's just 60 seconds, and notice when your mind feels open. Capture one quiet idea, write it down. That is how clarity begins. Now I want to hear from you. What thought, what dream, what unfinished idea has been living quietly in your mind? Share it in the comments. I read everything. If this video spoke to you, if you want more content for the thinkers, the observers, the quiet, ambitious minds, make sure you subscribe. Not because you should, because you know you're not done with this conversation. Thanks for watching. Keep thinking deeply, keep moving with clarity, and I'll see you in the next one.